right, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem HaKakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Northern and gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying, to feed the hopeful elect. This is a video, I would say a compilation of video, but this is actually a video I came across last week, but the beloved brother so happens to upload it, which through the Spirit, this place is through, man. And it kind of goes in tandem with the last video that I just did, going into IRS expects to lay off 15,000 employees as federal layoffs loom across Babylon, which is, this place is falling quick. We're witnessing a collapse in real time. As we've been in a retail apocalypse since 2016, 2015, probably before then, because technically the economy never recovered ever since the 2008 housing collapse, man. The housing market, when the housing market crashed back in 2007, 2008, they really haven't bounced back really since then. Okay, and a lot of people lost businesses, they lost homes, a lot of credit based systems were pretty much depleted, and they never recovered from it. Okay, though they were bailed out because you have what they call quantitative easing, which allows them to borrow money from the Fed at a 0% interest rate. So therefore, they don't have to get taxed on what they owe. But going back into 2016, when we saw the closings of Payless, Sears, I believe you have one more Sears outlet that may be open, which that's probably on the verge of shutting down. Then JCPenney's, what else? Payless shoe stores, Kmart's, all these once known retail giants, they're pretty much null and void. And they've lost out to the likings of Walmart, Supercenters, Targets, and mainly Amazon. Okay, which Amazon pretty much put everything out of business because of the cheap rates. You can buy a particular item off Amazon and totally go through the middleman and cut out however they do it, and then you pay less, you pay cheaper. Like electronics, like you had a place called Radio Shack back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and you had Radio Shack and Circuit City. I remember I used to buy video games from Circuit City, but once the internet came up and running and prevalent, and then you had the likings of these other box stores and getting games digitally, that pretty much done away with Radio Shack. Okay, I remember Radio Shack, you was able to get a phone. I remember they had the first concept of the Verizon wireless flip phones that everybody wanted. And before you know it, Verizon opened up their own stores. They've always had stores, but, they've branched out of these retail stores, and they became their own seller, so to speak. Because like vendorship, like you go to Walmart and Target, they have contracts through third parties to sell T-Mobile products, Sprint products, AT&T products, and that's kind of what like Circuit City was, like a third party vendor. But after a while, these particular moguls became self-sufficient, and they just start opening up their own retail stores, man. This is why you don't see these big box stores around and they're closing. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna play some. This is like an 18-minute video, so I'm not gonna play all of it, but I'm gonna play and interject it. But what was so funny about this video and so beautiful about it is because the guy is actually going through downtown Chicago. Now, I tell people this: Chicago is one of them cities that if you rich and you a celebrity, every celebrity has a house in Chicago. Like, I don't give a fuck if you Houdini, goddammit. Chicago is the place to be if you got money, but it's getting so bad now. All right, to the point that you go downtown on State Street, which was a booming district, all the way from Roosevelt all the way down into Lake Street, even beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Even over to Michigan Avenue, which they call I believe the Magnificent Mile. It's been a while since I've been downtown Chicago on that side. And I'm actually from there, but State Street is looking bad, man. Okay? You have up to 30% to 40% of office retail space in these vacant skyscrapers and these vacant businesses in downtown Chicago. And nobody can buy it up because they ain't got the money or the credit rating to sustain a low interest rate, man. I mean, it's crazy, man. State Street was like almost Michigan Avenue, man. But he's going to show it. And we'll get a couple of precepts and interject from here and here. So here we go.
"2025 is starting with a retail shockwave. Iconic brands, department stores, specialty retailers, even discount chains are vanishing before our eyes."
Oh, Salakia, one more thing too. Hey, 30% of the shopping malls in America, they're pretty much through. Okay, like they got this $100 million plan to revitalize this mall called River Oaks in Chicago, which is basically a suburb in Calumet City, Illinois, which is a southern eastern suburb in Chicago. River Oaks Mall has been there since like fucking maybe like the 1950s or something like that. And I remember as a kid, man, we used to go up there on weekends and go to the movies. It was like the place to be. River Oaks was like Candyland, for real. Everybody goes up there. That's where you go to meet the chicks and go to the mall, wear your kicks, and food court. You know, it was just packed. But now you go to River Oaks, ain't nobody in that damn mall, man. There's a lot of empty spaces. A lot of stores are being taken. You know, a lot of shoe outlets are being done, like Foot Lockers. And hey, that retail chain, which was a derivative of Foot Locker, Foot Action, that shit is gone. Okay, that's gone, man. And soon, a lot of Foot Locker stores been closing down too. So it's getting ready to get real graphic, man. But here we go.
What's fueling this retail apocalypse? Inflation, skyrocketing costs, and shrinking consumer spending are squeezing stores dry. Add the relentless rise of e-commerce, and even the strongest brands are crumbling under the pressure. Think of Kohl's, Gymboree, and even 99-cents only stores. Once thriving, now barely hanging on. Meanwhile, online giants like Amazon and Walmart continue to dominate, reshaping the way we shop forever.
Breaking news. Joan Fabrics, one of the largest craft and fabric retailers in the US, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and announced plans to close nearly 500 stores nationwide. The company, struggling with financial difficulties and declining sales, says the restructuring is necessary to stabilize operations. This move raises concerns for thousands of employees and loyal customers who rely on Joann for crafting supplies. How will these closures impact the retail industry and the crafting community?
What's up, y'all? It's your man Will. Hey, I figure I'll make this quick video while I'm downtown walking around so y'all can see when I'm saying that downtown Chicago is like a ghost town. You'll see all of the vacant retail spaces, all of the vacant office spaces. So I know it's a push to bring people back to the office so they can start back spending their money in these downtown areas. A few block radius and you see a lot of these type of signs. It's a lot.
And a lot of those modern brick buildings, those goes back to like the 1800s, 1870s, 1860s, you know, the days of Marshall Fields, you know, Marshall Fields, which became Macy's. And I mean, this was old money down here. All right. I remember, matter of fact,
even over here, we're on the corner of Madison, Dearborn. We got a restaurant area right here that's vacant. And then we got another spot on the counter. Let's keep going. This is another spot that's vacant. This used to be a bank. Got Walgreens across the street. That's gonna be closing soon. There go another spot that's vacant. There, that's vacant as well. Just go walk down State Street. Downtown Chicago. State Street used to be a hub for shopping, restaurants. So a lot of people that used to work downtown used to go to State Street to take care of a lot of shopping, stuff like that. If you come down State Street right now, Everything is closed up. Well,
Look at that. Everything is closed up. I mean, those are businesses that you had the Lids down there, the McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? You had, I mean, Macy's is still there, but it's not like it used to be. You know, you had Marshalls, you had the Target. The Target is still there, but even though, man, it's been several businesses that were in these little lots, and then they come and go. Restaurants. Like, I mean, I stayed downtown, man, and State Street and Michigan Avenue was the place to be. You know, State Street, you had all your common stores, your Foot Lockers, you know, you had you had your Macy's down there, you had your Target, you know, your McDonald's, all that stuff, your Lids. You know, but when you go on Michigan Avenue, you know, you got the Nike store, then you have the Water Tower, then you have pretty much the Water Tower, which the Nike store. I believe that's still in the Water Tower last time I went. It's been a minute. But, you know, you got your Michael Jordan Steakhouse, you know, all the tourist shit is like on Michigan Avenue. You know what I'm saying? But everybody that's from Chicago is familiar with the Water Tower. All right.
I ain't gonna say everything, but a nice amount of it is closed up. Look at that. That building is vacant. We on State Street. We got Felice right here. This used to be a clothing store. So we can continue to keep going down. Another one over there. This used to be open. Oh, that's vacant. This clothing store is down here. New York company.
I remember that, man. My sister, she used to shop there all the time. Every time we go downtown, you know what I'm saying, we'll catch the train down there and I'm looking for some kicks or something in the head. She'll go up in this store, you know, and do a little shopping and shit. I remember them days, you know, and like since the pandemic came, like we said, that pandemic was really another ploy to disguise our already collapse in plain sight. And that's really what it did, man. All right. So this is the book of 2 Ezra 6, and I'm going to start at verses 22. It says, "And suddenly should the sown places appear unsown." And when you think of something sewn, that means something that's knitted together. All right. And like they mentioned, those big box stores, Big Lots is gone. Joann's Fabrics, soon to be Michael's, they're all going to pretty much fade to black. Radio Shack been gone. Remember they had a store back in the 90s called Ventures. If anybody remember those stores, it was called Ventures. All right. Then we had a place in Chicago, which was called Old Country Buffet, which I believe they may have like one left. I remember they had the Pizza Hut dine-in joints. You know, like Pizza Hut used to be an actual dine-in spot before they turned them into these little storefront food chains, man. And the pizza was actually better back then. You know, I remember we'd be driving down, you know, a street called Halsted, and then there was a Pizza Hut, and you had to go in and what you call a hostess. They'll greet you and give you the menu and take it to the table, and a host, you know, the woman would come up and you know, you have to put an order in, man. Now all of a sudden they have all it's just storefront shit now. Okay, which shows you that this place is falling. You know, we had what they call FUD workers. We had a Shoney's. You know, I'm taking it back. But yep, we had Toys R Us, Kids R Us. Those are gone. You know, we had EB Games, KB Toys, in the malls. You know, all that stuff. All gone. Checkers, Rallies, which Chicago still have Checkers. Florida have Rallies, but it's the same counterpart, same franchise. KC, they had those things. They don't have, well, they don't like shit in Kansas City anyway. But they had, you know, those particular stores down here. Now they're all gone. Okay, now you have Walmarts, Targets, and a lot of fucking Starbucks and, you know, just all this modernized bullshit. But it says, "And suddenly should the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses should be suddenly found empty, and the trumpet should give a sound which we're blowing the trumpet." And it says, "Which every man heareth, then it should be suddenly afraid." Also, and another reason why a lot of these stores are closing down too, because I don't know if you just saw the notification on my app, but it's something called GOAT. It's basically like an online retailer. You know, it's like a bidding site, kind of like StockX. For those of you that's into like kicks, like, you know, I collect kicks from time to time because, you know, it's like an investment in case I need to get some shekels on the back end. I could go ahead and sell some kicks, you know, and get shekels on the back end for that. So it's kind of an investment. But people are going on those websites, and sometimes they pay less than retail for certain shoes. So therefore, they're beating out Foot Locker. They're beating out Champs. You know, They're beating out a place called Athlete's Foot, which I don't even believe Athlete's Foot is around anymore. You see? So it's all falling. But it says, and the trumpet should give a sound, which when every man hear it, they should suddenly be afraid. And everybody is getting afraid now. Okay, like that last video I played with that Keisha, she said, look, I'm getting kind of nervous, man, because this shit is going to cause us a recession. She said that government spending causes the economy to bounce back. That's not true. Government spending actually puts the economy further into depression because they're printing unlawful amounts of money. Now, when people are spending money within the economy, then that kind of causes things to rebound. But eventually that becomes null and void, because if you constantly printing a dollar that has no value to it, you're just racking up the debt. And the only reason why the US dollar has not fully tanked officially, quote unquote, is because they are the world's reserve currency. But if we did not have the world's reserve currency and have all this purchasing power with this fiat currency, this shit would have been over with, man. The only thing that's protecting the dollar, the asset, is the military. That's it. Not even oil was holding up the dollar no more, because the OPEC nations and in Saudi Arabia, they're cutting America off. You see? So it says here, and a trumpet should give a sound, which when every man hear it, they should suddenly be afraid. And people are getting ready to lose their minds, man, because eventually these grocery stores are going to get hit. You know, like during the pandemic, private businesses took a hit. You know, like little mom and pop shops, little restaurants, you know, little pop-up shops. Those places took hits, man. Okay, because for the simple fact, they couldn't sustain themselves. They was not bailed out by the government. So therefore, they took a hit, and these big box stores, and Amazon, the Go's, and Whole Foods and stuff like that started popping up all over the place. You see? And it says here, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. And why would they do that? Because for the simple fact, there's going to be a lack of bread. Okay, when you don't have any food to feed your family, but this guy across the hall have a loaf of bread that he's been sitting on for maybe a day or two, and you get whiff of it, you're going to go in and you're going to take it. Okay, it's going to become a battle of the survival, man, of a survival for the fittest. Okay, it's getting ready to be a dog-eat-dog world. And Jake, you ain't ready for it, because you too dependent on this system. And it says, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, meaning that your particular systems are going to come to a abrupt halt. All right, let's go back here. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's get this. Control 1. Matter of fact, let's do this. Go 3. Hold on, I'm trying to find this precept. I'm trying to remember where I put it. Oh, yep, I think it's the home too. There we go. All right, let's go back to the video.
They left. They were open for years. Stone real estate. I'm seeing a lot of stone real estate signs downtown. This store right here, that should be a shoe store, I believe. That's closed. It's another one that's closed. All of these storefronts are vacant, closed. This used to be a Crocs store. Used to be a Lids. Closed, vacant.
Yep, Lids. That was a fitted hat store. They sell hats, baseball caps. I remember that. I used to shop there.
Beef and Brandy place right here. That used to be open. Used to be a lunch spot. Closed. Now you got posters all sniped up. Another clothing store closed. Sneakerhead University. I think this was a pop-up shop. That's closed too. Right here used to be a CVS. That's closed. What's going on, y'all? Is it really all tied to people working from home, or what's really going on? Y'all tell me in the comments. I'm gonna keep walking down on across the street and go to the other side. It's another sign. Prime Space. Another office place that's for lease. What's going on? All of these places are vacant. Here, we on a whole nother strip. Vacant. For lease. Spots available. In the comments, is it the same way in your town as well? He over there, even across the street. All of those storefronts closed. And this is downtown Chicago on State Street. A lot of people come to Chicago, they go to Michigan Avenue because that's where all of the high-end stores are. Some high-end restaurants and steakhouses and stuff is on that end. But that's more of the tourist area. But all other parts of downtown Chicago looks like this. It's vacant too. We got DePaul University. They got a building down here. So that's the only building that's occupied on this block.
Yeah, he mentioned Michigan Avenue. That's the tourist spot. State Street is more like the commoner side, man. Most people that's from Chicago, I mean, you know, they shop on Michigan Ave, but that's more of a tourist because you got your Millennial Park, you know, you got your Buckingham Fountain, you know, you got your Bean. But State Street is more like the commoner spot, you know, the more affordable shopping. You got your Macy's and stuff, which Macy's, that's still there. But I remember back in the day, man, around Christmas time, downtown Chicago, that shit was lit. Okay? Like lit.
Cow, that's vacant, closed. Oh, they say for maintenance though. Okay, we got Central Camera, that's still open. They got some construction going on down here. Just go walk. Now I'm on Wabash. Wabash Street. Okay, they got a tavern over here. Brewery, art store.
So many stores have come and went. All right, and that's getting ready to be Babylon as a collective in a minute. I mean, that's happening in every major city for real. All right, so anyway, let's do this. This is the book of Nahum 2, and I'm going to start at verses 8. And it says, "But Nineveh is of old like a pool of water, yet they shall flee away. But stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back," right? Because Nineveh represents America, the destruction. Eventually, Nineveh was destroyed, which was a province of the Assyrian Empire, all right, which Jonah prophesied. I believe Tobit was part of the Assyrian captivity, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Tobit as well. But it says here, "Take ye the spoil of silver, and take the spoil of gold, for there is none end of the store and glory out of all the pleasant furniture. But she is empty and void and waste, and the heart melted, and the knees smite together, and much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness," right? Because before this destruction come, there's going to be a total systematic collapse, man, which is being orchestrated through the elites, of course. But people are going to be in hard times, man, okay? Because right now what we're witnessing is what they call the squeeze, okay? People, you've seen federal employees are being laid off left and right, Okay, programs are being cut, funding is being stripped away from these different sectors in government, to stop aiding and spending. So people are getting ready to be hurt. Price of food is going up. Okay, inflation is going up. Okay, and the pandemic made it 10 times worse. This is why in the last video, old girl was like, they had what they call the Great Resignation, when everybody pretty much started working from home. And that hurt a lot of these companies, man. Okay, so this next ordeal, hey, like I said, if we have another shutdown, this place won't survive it. Okay, America's literally hanging on by a thread, you see? But it says here, she is empty and void. And it says, and waste, and her heart melted, and the knees smite together, and much pain is in old loins, and the faces of them be gathered blackness, man. All right. So, yeah, you people are getting ready to feel the burn. Okay. Another precept here, because this is what Yahweh Shai said. Yahweh Shai said it. Because right now we're still in the green tree, which green tree represents, your basically things are still being accessible, which green represents life. So right now, you have the likings of business. Like, I can look out my window and I can see business thriving. Since they cut down on our nature, now I can see right into the business, which is pretty vexing. But I'm looking out, I can see a Burlington's, I see a Dairy Queen, I see PetSmart, Qdoba, Five Guys, all these box stores. I see a storage facility over there. But eventually all those places are going to shut down because those represent these places being sewn together. And ultimately it's going into your big box stores, man. All right. Like that Burlington. Burlington is still up and running. But back in the day, you saw fucking Sears, you saw Kmart's, Payless Shoe Source, Circuit Cities, Toys R Us. Those were the box stores in those times, okay, which were considered giants. But this is Luke 23, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 28. It says, "But Yahweh Shai turning unto them and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children." So, hey, the Lord said, don't cry for me. Cry for your children. Cry for yourselves, man. Because it's going to come a time that there ain't going to be any food here. Okay? Going back into 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, when the famine hit, I believe that was, what was it? Assyria? Let me get that. I haven't read that story in a long time. Need to go back over that. I think it was Armenians. Syria. Yeah, the king of Syria, Khan. All right. But anyway, going back to Luke 23. Verses up 23, but it's matter of fact 28. Salakia, Luke 23 and 28. It says, "But Yahweh Shai turning and said unto them and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and your children." It says, "For behold, the days are coming, in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bear, and the paps which never gave suck," because the scripture says specifically that woe to them that give suck, and that's nursing babies in those days. Because you got a lot of pregnant. I mean, you're not really seeing pregnant women like that because everybody's all destroyed by the jab. But you still have a great deal of women, mainly our women, having children, walking around with bellies, big as hell. And yet, when the famine comes, how you going to feed your kids? And the last thing you want to do is be 8 months pregnant, cold outside, and you want to run from martial law. And you can't find no food. Your best bet is to get caught and go to the detention center. And it's going to be even worse for you in there. But it says here, "Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. For if they do these in the green tree, what should be done in the dry?" So if people are complaining and going to the streets mourning as we speak over the things that's being pulled back from them, how much more when really shit hits the fan? Okay, because this place is literally one event from all hell breaking loose, man. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's uptight. Okay, nobody got any money. Credit card debt is at an all-time high, to the point they're giving people lines of credit just so they can continue to spend to keep the economy afloat. Okay, but it's like a balloon that you constantly put in air, and eventually just the bubble is gonna burst. All right. Let's go here. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. And I'm going to start at verses 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house should tremble, and the strong men should bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened." Yeah, and these people that's going into TikTok and expressing their that discontentness with the system, This is a representation of the windows being darkened because they're pessimistic now. Okay, you have what they call an optimist and a pessimist, and people are in a pessimistic spirit because they're not really seeing any healing for this place. You know, I've mentioned in several videos and sit downs that people thought the likings of Trump, their last hope was Trump. And when Trump came in and did a total 360 on people, people's hopes of morale just dropped, man. Okay, to the point even Edomites are screaming, get this dude up out of here. Okay, he said, y'all gonna be screaming back for, y'all gonna be screaming for Biden to come back. And Biden was the worst president. Biden was by far the worst president in his administration have ever took office. Okay, between Barack Obama and Joe Biden, those were the worst presidents to ever run a country, hands down. Okay, you've been better off under the George Bush administration, man. At least gases wasn't fucking $6. At least a carton of eggs wasn't $20 for some bullshit. At least under George Bush, you was able to get a $300 one-bedroom apartment. Even, you know. But it says here, and the doors should be shut in the streets. And that's what this brother is showing you through the video. The doors are shut, man. Retail spaces are all up for sale. Even though 30 to 35% of empty retail space may not seem like a whole lot, but when you compare all these cities per capita and by demographic, that's quite bad, man. Okay, because downtown Chicago, hey, that's some money. That's prime real estate. If you can afford property down there, you's a billionaire, man. You know, but can't nobody afford the office. But you know how much it costs to rent office space in one of those buildings on State Street, and you're not generating the type of foot traffic that you need? Please, you through, man. And it says, and the door should be shut in the streets, and when the sound of the grinding is low, he should rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the doors of music should be brought low. And the music industry sucks. All right. So I'm going to play a little bit more of this video, and we'll get one more precept, and we'll end it. I think the point is being made. What is it? Isaiah 19.
Okay, Flax, they've been open for a long time. Okay, it seems like there's some stores that's open on Wabash. State Street is like a ghost town. Got a fabric store. All right, here go another building that's vacant. Retail space available.
Oh, you had Carson Prairie Scott. You had a place called Lerner's. Lerner's was go way back to like the 70s and 80s, man. I remember I wasn't even born yet. I think my mom worked there. It was a place called Lerner's. It was pretty much it was downtown Chicago. I don't think it was the old Carson Prairie Scott building, because I mean, it was all kind of, it's like you got your Dillard's, you got your Macy's, you got your JCPenney's. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much like all the same stores. So you had like Carson Prairie Scott, you had Lerner's, shit like that, you know, your regular retail stores, which is pretty much like your modern day New York and Company. You know, I remember you had Wilson's Leather. In the malls, you had a place called the Lark. You know, you've had a place called Jimmy. I think Jimmy Jazz is still around, if I'm not mistaken. I think the last one I saw was in a mall in St. Louis, which is more of your urban apparel.
Here go another building that's vacant. Retail space available. Man, there's so many of them, y'all. It used to be packed downtown, man. All of these places was full. Even this place across the street at the bottom of this place. That's also right here's the fancy Palmer House Hotel. See, they downstairs place. Downstairs spaces are vacant too. All right, they got a UPS store in here. Starbucks. Okay, they got a Sugar Bliss cupcake spot down here. Look like they doing okay. One of them were poke joints. Those are starting to be real popular. Poke noodles and broth and all that stuff. All right, 55, that's vacant. And we have a corner bakery here. That's been closed down. Guess they didn't sell enough cookies and sandwiches. Closed. It's another restaurant spot on the corner. Bottom of Target, that's closed. We got the college over here. Bottom of the old Carson Perry Scott building. Retail space for lease. Further down here. Another spot over there for lease as well.
And that's pretty much the point, man. All right, I don't want to keep going on that, but this is the book of Isaiah 19, and I'm gonna start at verses. Really, we can start at verses 5 down, because it's going into a total breakdown of the system. But 14, it says, "The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man has staggered in his vomit." Yeah, so everything is getting ready to be touched, man, from retail to restaurant and hospitality to government sectors to cities. All types of stuff is getting ready to get hit, to the leasing. This shit is going to be ran by AI in a minute, man. All right, and they're basically displacing the citizens of Babylon. And it says, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaken over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt," which is those YNs. Okay, that's the YNs right there, them young niggas. "In the land of Judah should be a terror unto Egypt, and everyone that make it mention there should be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it." So, hey, the Lord have a purpose for YN, man. The YNs, the Most High set them niggas up, man. They have a particular purpose. If you a YN, you are being used by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to do some nefarious shit while on the back end getting judged, man. Because you YNs are through, man. All right, but anyway, man, Lord's will, this was an edifying lesson. Into the next one. Shalom.